Welcome to The Other Side of the Page, a bookish podcast where we yap about the books we love.
The songs that give us main character energy.
We're here to sift through the chaos that is our TBR.
And to let you know why a book might just be your next favorite read.
I'm Britt, dramatic plot twist lover and champion for MMCs needing to be more pathetic and down bad.
And I'm Hannah, reader of at least 5 books at once and a detailed fantasy map enthusiast.
Every Wednesday, press play on a brand new bookish episode.
Stay up to date with the books we will be covering by following us on social media at othersideofthepagepod over on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Threads.
And don't forget to follow, rate, and review the podcast on your preferred platform. A shining 5 stars. It helps us so much with visibility.
And this week, we are discussing the horror novel Play Nice by Rachel Harrison.
Yes, we'll be talking about our song choices alongside the plot and chatting about our favorite moments. So grab an iced coffee
or iced chai
and let's turn the page together.
Dear reader, here is a synopsis of Play Nice. Cleo Louise Barnes leads a picture-perfect life as a stylist and influencer. But beneath the glossy veneer, she harbors a not-so-glamorous secret. She grew up in a haunted house. Well, not haunted, possessed. After Cleo's parents' messy divorce, her mother Alex moved Cleo and her sisters into a house occupied by a demon. Or so Alex claimed. That's not what Cleo's sisters remember or what the courts determined when they stripped Alex of custody after she went off the deep end. But Alex was insistent. She even wrote a book about her experience in the house. After Alex's sudden death, the supposedly possessed house passes to Cleo and her sisters. Where her sisters see childhood trauma, Cleo sees an opportunity for house flipping content. Only as the home makeover process begins, Cleo discovers there might be some truth to her mother's claims. As memories resurface and Cleo finally reads her mother's book, the presence in the house becomes more real and more sinister, revealing ugly truths that threaten to shake Cleo's beautiful life to its very foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Dun, dun, dun. And honestly, you should read this book if you want to experience a haunted house while also dealing with some pretty haunted family dynamics.
Yeah, this was fun. It was a fun read. It was spooky, but it was fun. If you're worried that it's going to be too creepy, just don't read it at night and you'll be fine.
Yeah, that was me. I had to pause it the other night. I was like, I'm going to pause this. I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
And this is my now 3rd Rachel Harrison book that I've read.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I guess we can talk about this later, but I kind of want to talk about it now. But I don't like scary movies. I don't like scary things. But I will read scary books. Make it make sense, please. But I really like the way Rachel writes like horror and like spooky things because I feel like it's in a very fun, lighthearted way.
Yeah.
That was good. So if you're a little nervous about haunted houses, I think this is a good like intro to them.
Absolutely. Now, you might want to avoid this book if any of the following things are potentially triggering for you: alcoholism, death of a parent, addiction, animal death, blood, gore, homophobia, child abuse, infidelity, creepy houses, paranormal activity, anything like that.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about our song choices.
Song choices. What song did you land on this week?
I picked Glory and Gore by Lorde.
Oh, I forgot about that song.
I did too.
It's so good.
What about you?
I really like that. I picked Cassandra by Taylor Swift, which if anyone knows the song and you also read Play Nice, I think you'll understand the parallel pretty immediately. I'm very excited to talk about the lyrics of this one. But now we're going to move into our Pages Turned and Bridges Burned section, which means we're going to be discussing Play Nice cover to cover. And if y'all saw, this cover is, first of all, amazing. It's so fun for a horror book, and it definitely fits the tone of our FMC of Cleo. But if you have not read the book, spoilers are ahead, and we will be spoiling things from the get-go. So this is your time to pause the podcast, back out, come back when you have. If you've read the book, or if you're just here for the vibes, welcome in. We're going to get started with our theme lyrics from our songs, and then explain briefly why we picked our songs.
So my theme lyric is, but in all chaos, there's calculation. Dropping glasses just to hear them break. You've been drinking like the world was going to end. It didn't. And I think there's a lot of lines in the song I'll talk about more later. But this just... the whole book is chaotic with like...
it is.
The sisters' different types of views. Alex's view, the mom, and then the dad's view, and then the possession and everything going on.
Yes.
And there also seems to be like the calculation behind it, right? Like if they would have listened to their memories, if there was this.
Mm-hmm.
So that, like in all the chaos, there's calculation that kind of brought it together for me. And like the dropping glasses just to hear them break, and you've been drinking like the world was going to end, because they talk about like Alex would drink a lot, because she was dealing with this, right? And it just kind of that double-edged, like, double-folded. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Double-edged sword.
Yeah, maybe.
That is that where you're
I
going
think,
for?
no, I think like parallel. I guess parallel, we'll say. Between like Cleo's and Alex's experiences, and how like the dropping glass, just hear them break, is the like what the like spirit was kind of pushing them to do.
Yeah.
Totally.
I love that song choice.
And the vibe itself of the song, I think, is
very
really the way like Cleo is, like influencer Cleo, and like I'll talk about it more in the lyrics, but it's very much, I feel like, the sisters song, like it would be kind of with them.
Yes.
In certain ways. But
yeah. I put 2 down, but I'm going to go with 1. It's a very short line, because if I went into too much now, I would talk about the whole song. But the lyric that I picked is, "I regret to say, do you believe me now?" And this Cassandra is about like the legend of Cassandra. Had the gift of knowledge, but she was cursed to have no one believe her. And no matter what, she could see things, but no one would believe that they were real. And the parallels of Cleo going into the house after Alex, after her mom, reading the book, experiencing things side by side, experiencing the idea of not being believed side by side, watching things happen that you can't explain, but people calling you crazy, people demonizing you, people throwing rocks at you. As soon as I was like diving into songs, this was the one that I was like, oh shit. This, like, Cassandra is Cleo and Alex against the family, against the public eye. And I'll, again, as we go through the plot, I'll dive a little bit more into detail about specific lyrics. But just for fun, the second one that I had picked was "Blood's thick, but nothing like a payroll," just with all of the familial drama and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I heard it and I was like, yeah, that's it. That's the one.
It's a good choice. So we kind of talked about it in the synopsis, but this book really follows the youngest of the siblings, Cleo. And after their mother dies, who they call her Alexandra, Alex, they like don't really call her mom.
Yeah.
And like the family is brought back together, and just like secrets unfold, and it's just
it's wild.
Before we talk about like the POV and everything, I just want to mention, I loved that Hannah was the one with the kid. Like, she's like, Hannah's kid hates me and like all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. My kid does not hate anyone. But anyway, so in this book, there was kind of like, not really like point of view, but we got like Alex's book. So with that, how did you like that layout? Did you like how that was
I thought
presented
it was
to us?
so cool. I did it on audio. So at first I was like, oh, new narrator. Like we cut to something else. And it like, I think the way that she spliced them in didn't affect the pacing. In fact, it like connected the dots a little bit more. And I really liked that the book was paralleling things that Cleo was going through inside the house, but not exactly. They weren't identical, but they were similar enough to like, like when the whole fridge explosion happened, and it reminded me of like the peanut butter with the family, but the peanut butter with the family happened a little bit earlier than we got the like jam explosion in the fridge, like later on. So I really enjoyed it. I liked seeing, I really liked that in a horror novel, we finally leaned into paranormal and didn't explain it away. That's kind of one of mine and Hannah's pet peeves when we're reading paranormal is I do think that it's a little bit of a cop out if you're writing like a paranormal horror or thriller to just explain it away. Now, there are instances where I've loved the books where things were explained away, for sure. But if the whole story is going to be about a possession and a ghost, like, please let it be real. And I loved that this was real, even if some of the experiences were conflated in the book itself. Like, what was his name? Roy. I knew it started with an R. I almost said Richard.
Demonologist.
Yeah. So when Roy the demonologist was like, she had to pump it up a little for publishers, like make it a little bit more sensationalized, but that shit still happened.
Yeah.
So I really loved getting that. And it was such a stark contrast because Cleo's POV being in her head. She's so funny. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so funny. The way she talked about, like, her first hookup was like, no notes. Sounds good. Like, oh, I liked him enough to go down on him. He
Yeah.
no notes.
I
Like,
liked how like when her dad burned the book, like when
yes.
she got it back too, she's like, and now back to the book. So it was like a really cool perspective shift there.
Yeah.
So I really like how that was written.
Hmm.
So we find out a lot about like Cleo's like early life
Hmm.
when we're like reading the book, and like a lot of these memories that like she forgot. I know we talk about like the creepy things, but like what were some of the memories or like things that got unlocked that you were interested in? Because for me, like I thought it was interesting, like how their dad's affair played into it too. How
Yeah.
just like the memories of like what the kids remembered and what the dad and Amy were like telling them
Yeah.
versus like the actual truth. I'm like, and these are adults now that they're like Cleo's like everything's clicking, you know?
Yeah. I loved seeing the like the special cups and the special plate, like the special stuff that Alex had for the girls, and like it was very clear that she was trying to make their life special when she was with them, even though she was quite literally fighting a demon, like literal
Yeah.
demon. And wasn't there like a fort, like a blanket fort situation that they had done?
Yeah, a fort with like all taped up and everything, and then she saw the shadow and then she
Yes.
tore it all down.
Yeah, but like the experience of like Cleo forgetting not only the bad parts of her childhood, but also the good parts of her childhood, and then
Hmm.
experiencing them kind of simultaneously. I obviously, like, a lot of the disdain for their mom was steeped in like their father's like disappointment in her, and like their father's
Hmm.
him being so adamant that she was like an unfit mother. So I found the disdain that Lita and Daphne held for Alex so interesting, because I know that they were older and they definitely had
Hmm.
like some marred memories of that. What I really loved about, as we were unlocking these like clues to her younger days and we're realizing that Alex really wasn't all that crazy, it made the disdain that Lita and Daphne held for their mom so much like more visceral. And also, like,
Hmm.
it really pissed me off how they were continually forcing Cleo to abide by these rules that they had for her, even though she's a fully grown adult and can make her own decisions surrounding who their mother was. Um,
Yeah.
and I thought that family dynamics played such a huge role in this book. Like, it was just as important as the actual house being haunted. Um,
Hmm.
if not more important, to be honest. But I thought, like, getting, like you said, those like memories of, you know, their mom actually doing good and being good and having these fun times together, and like, trying to do her best to make sure that she could keep her girls. Um,
Hmm.
to be contrasted with, if Alex's name was said by Cleo, Lita and Daphne would just be like, literally, fuck off, Cleo. Like, why are you even bringing her up? She's dead to us. The fact that they wouldn't allow her to go to the funeral, they didn't want her interacting with
Yeah.
anyone. Like, I was like, okay, so she must have been like the worst mom. And obviously, given the stuff that went down with no outside perspective, it looks like she's clinically insane and the worst mom.
Yeah. And then it's also like what's true though too. You know, it's like
Yes.
what like we know that there was paranormal and there was spirits and possessions and stuff, but like Alex's book too, like what's true there. You know, it's
Yeah.
like interesting to think about too. What like everybody's perspective is different because it's how you are observing things.
Yeah. Question for you. How did you feel when dad burned the book at the barbecue?
I was livid.
Hmm.
I was like, what? Like, I just think Cleo had a right to know.
Yes.
And I feel like they were hiding things from her.
Yes.
And I didn't like that. I didn't like that they were hiding things. Even if it was bad and traumatic, it obviously is still impacting her.
100%. And the fact that you just said that, though, I have to tie in one of my, like, this line for my song,
Mm-hmm.
um, which, when, Lita and Daphne were like, you cannot read this book. No one's going to read this book, blah, blah, blah. And come to find out that Lita had read the book
Mm-hmm.
and all this stuff. So the bridge of Cassandra is, they knew the whole time that I was onto something. The family, the pure greed, the Christian chorus line, they all said nothing. Blood's thick, but nothing like a payroll. Bet they never spared a prayer for my soul. You can mark my words that I said it first. In a morning warning, no one heard. And to me, that is just, it boils down to the family keeping, like you said, keeping stuff from Cleo when she had every right to know. And they knew. They had read the book. They had experienced it. Their dad quite literally hid an affair with his current wife and played it off like it was some fated situation after he left their mom because she was crazy, when come to find out that he left their mom far beyond when all of this stuff started. And it was a save face, cover it up. Dad wants to be the hero. Dad wants to be, the one that swoops in and saves them, but he's not absolved of the stuff that he's done. But yeah, that one specifically, I was like, damn. And two, so they killed Cassandra first because she feared the worst and tried to tell the town. So they set my life in flames. I regret to say, do you believe me now? Like, they killed Cassandra first. Alex obviously had a problem with drinking, but the drinking really stemmed from trying to numb herself and to cope with what was happening in the house and what was going on in her life. And addiction is a disease in and of itself, whether it's in fiction or not. And the fact that she was trying to get help and everyone just said that she was crazy. And then as soon as Cleo steps in the house and she starts doing this stuff, they set my life in flames. The way that they were like trying to institutionalize her and trying to do all of these things. And now she's like, well, I regret to say, do you believe me now? You see the demon with your own two eyes now. Do you believe me? But yeah, I love Cassandra for the parallels of Alex and then Cleo experiencing it.
Yeah, no, I think that was a great choice. It made me think about like one of the lyrics I put in here. It's like, wide awake in bed, words in my brain. Secretly, you love this. Do you even want to go free? And I feel like Cleo kind of had that moment in the house, where she's like, or even when she was younger, and like just saying hello and she wasn't scared of, the shadowy figure with no eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of like it made me think of like the spirit in their mind, like, secretly you love this. Do you even want to go free? Like, do you want to leave the house? Like while wide awake in bed. So that was kind of a line when I read it was like, ooh, this is kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Even though it's not supposed to be creepy in the song, but that's
for sure. No, but I love that
in relation to this book.
Yeah, and I just thinking about like all of the crazy shit that happened, like the fact that Cleo was called like Cece, and they had like all of the notes, all of the scratches on the walls. Okay, so I think that the way that it was done left some interpretation open to if not Alex, well, honestly, Alex too when she was there, but if Cleo was unconsciously doing some of this stuff, or if it was actually done physically by the demon itself. Like, I think some of it, obviously she didn't do because she physically wasn't present, but like the scratches in the wall, drawing the stuff in her notepad and things like that. Like, I think it's a really cool interpretation of it could have been the demon just doing it on its own, but it also could have been Alex, like, again, Alex or Cleo. I keep getting them mixed up because they have like such parallel experiences. Like, but it could have been Cleo too, like under whatever trance this entity had her under.
Yeah. What was the creepiest, wildest thing that happened for you?
The depiction of the exorcism from Alex's book's POV.
Yeah.
Where like smashing their head on the table again and again.
And like couldn't take off their headphones.
Yes, and just starting to bleed from every orifice and stuff like that. And then I know the sisters were like, well, that never happened. There was never blood. They never did this. They never did that. And then I know Roy said, again, they had to like sensationalize it a little bit. But I think that like some of the girls, like their psyches were probably protecting them from some of the crazy shit that they saw. Because I don't think that it was as bad as what she had put in the book. But I do believe that crazy shit was happening.
Yeah.
What about for you?
Yes. But
yes.
Real quick. Like the lyrics and the title of like my song, like glory and gore go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And that's why we're
Yeah.
making headlines, like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because you had to kind of put that together in the house and everything. But yeah, the exorcism, but like even for me, like it's like the minor things that like creep me out. So it's like
Yes.
the shadow, the laughter, like the creepy crawl space, like where,
Yes.
you know, all those like little things I think
Mm-hmm.
add more to it too for me. Um
100%. The
that like creep me out.
the like sensations, like, yeah, just the doors, remembering that you closed something and then it was open, or vice versa. Oh, I think that her having Austin as a grounding force was very much needed for her,
I
because
thought like Austin was gonna be a ghost.
okay, I
But
thought
I
there was
was
going to be
like
another twist. I did think
but
that
I
we were
was
going to
like, all
have,
right, this isn't that type of book. But
no, but well, in the fact that she interacted with like his mom and stuff,
yeah.
if he was just within the house, it was kind of giving like Haunting of Hill House, like,
Hmm.
or like American Horror Story,
Yeah.
murder house type vibe. No, that it I thought it was terrifying. And again, an audio too, the laughter and some of the other stuff I think was made way more pointed than just like reading
Hmm.
it. Terrifying. But if she didn't have Austin, I do think that she would have lost her marbles a little bit sooner. Unable to like step out of the house. She was called back to the house constantly. And yeah, I thought she did a great job of balancing, like we kind of talked about when you did the synopsis. Like, she really balanced the spooky with like the haunting of the family itself.
Yeah. The one thing I thought was also kind of out there was the fact that she was like posting and live streaming and she was unaware of
Yes.
it. Like, and
Yes.
that's when like the sisters came over like at the end because
Mm-hmm.
they're like, you're live streaming. She's like, no, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of my lines literally from the song is took a shiner from the fist of your best friend. It's clear someone's got to go. We mean it, but I promise we're not mean. And that just like made me think of like the end when they like are like fighting each other and
Yes.
like, you know, it's like all like
Yes.
hell breaks loose and everything. But yeah, just that she's like, oh yeah, you're live streaming. And she's like, I'm not live streaming. Or like, oh, the pictures you posted. And she's like, no. And so it's just those happenings too.
Yes. Which also ties into me wondering like how much of it was Alex, again, I said it again, Alex, Cleo actually
Mm-hmm.
doing those things versus the demon like influencing her, or the demon doing it themselves. Like, I think
Yeah.
that there's like so many open-ended questions there. Yeah, I thought that was wild. And I can understand why her family was afraid that she was losing her marbles. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
see it. But I also think that if her family would have just stepped back and realized that they are all adults, and that like finding answers to their mother's story is not inherently betraying anyone. It's normal for people to want answers. It's normal for
Mm-hmm.
people to want to know what happened, even if it's someone that you don't have a relationship with. And
Yeah.
um I mean, I don't think anything pissed me off more than, besides their dad burning the book, was truly the sisters and the way that they like patronized Cleo about wanting to explore the house and the relationship that they had with their mom.
Yeah.
Um, and then, oh, also something really creepy too. The whole Roy sequence at the ending where he's like in the attic
Yeah.
and his eyes,
Yeah. Well, because like the whole time I'm like, where is he? Because like his
literally.
car was there. I'm like,
Yes. Yeah. That was terrifying. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I had so much fun with this story. Like, this is like my perfect type of horror. It's because I do
Mm-hmm.
enjoy horror and I really love thrillers, but this was like the perfect blend of like really punchy, funny voice mixed with spooky, scary, mixed with family drama. It was like
Mm-hmm.
Rachel Harrison really crafted like a book that I was like, I could sink my teeth into. And just from the opening line, I was hooked. I really,
Mm-hmm.
really loved this book. And I think too, like, just going back to the song that I picked, because once I started leaning into the lyrics, I was like, ooh, let me pull this and pull this. But it starts with, I was in my new house placing daydreams, patching up the crack along the wall. I pass it and lose track of what I'm saying because that's where I was when I got the call. But quite literally, like the home renovation, and lose track of what I'm saying, lose track of what I'm doing. That started to happen more and more to Cleo over time. Like, she would get sucked into the house itself. You know, I was in my tower weaving nightmares, twisting all my smiles into snarls. They say what doesn't kill you makes you aware. What happens if it becomes who you are? Where she was almost morphing into a version of her mom. And she was experiencing things that Alex was, which I think was absolutely crazy. And there are two quotes too that kind of tie back into that I have here. But one is, our mother's presence is everywhere. Her influence, her ghost is us. And that made me go back to that one that I just said, where like, what happens if it becomes who you are? And then the other one there is, the world will drive a woman insane, then point at them and laugh, which is why I almost picked Mad Woman as my song, which I think it also would have fit. But the parallels of Cassandra being Alex and then the song being sung, you know, from Cleo's perspective, I thought was really cool.
And then one of the quotes I have ties into kind of that last one that you said too, is like, I think it's just easier to call somebody crazy than to admit that they could be right.
Yep. Before we go into like, because I want to, there's one last chunk of lyric that I'll go into at the end here. But before we do that, would you have stayed in a haunted house like that?
No. No.
Yeah.
No.
No. If y'all have been around for a while, you know, like I have a weird connection to the paranormal. I've experienced a lot of things in my life, a lot of things growing up. My family has wild stories, pictures. I mean, truly what, like old orphanage, you know, old woman in a rocking chair in a picture, pitchforks being removed, like just crazy stories, right? So like I am intrigued by the paranormal deeply. I have a very strong connection to it. When I'm the one who's like seeking it out, when it happens to me unprovoked, probably not. Probably not. If it was a benevolent little ghost, little spirit, I could probably make do. I could probably make peace with it. I could probably yap with them, let them know, hey, just don't affect me while I'm sleeping. Just don't do this. You can live there. I'll live here. It'll be fine. The second a demon gets involved,
no, thank you.
I'm out. I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah.
So.
But the last quote I have here too, I think it ties it really into Cleo and like sums up her thoughts. Is like, if we don't remember something, how can we be sure it never happened? Because how can you be sure?
It's true. And also there's something to be said how like personal accounts are inherently biased and we all remember things differently. And there's no way to know objective truth unless you have like video footage of like exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of which, I thought it was the paranormal cruise and stuff I thought were really interesting, like the tie-ins, you know, in Alex's book and all that stuff. But I have one more quote and one more lyric to go over. And the quote is, "This being in front of me is what it is, and it cannot change. It lives in this place amid the damage, and it chaps, it reaps just by existing. And it breaks my heart because it's so familiar to me. I love it and I hate it. And I admire it, aspire to be it. And I resent everything about it that I recognize within myself." And she was talking about the demon. And I think that there were so many parallels to the demon's behavior to their family, like the control, the appeasement, the giving kind of gifts to it to like tide it over so it doesn't kind of go crazy. But also the family continued to ignore it. And the last line that I wanted to kind of tie it in together was, "When the first stone's thrown, they're screaming. In the streets, there's a raging riot. When it's burn the bitch, they're shrieking. When the truth comes out, it's quiet." And
it's a really good song for this book.
Yeah, I was real happy with this pick. But yeah, everyone was loud and wild until all of a sudden they're experiencing the demon together and they're back to their childhood. And then it gets real quiet, real fast, real quiet. Yeah, that was pretty much everything that I had to say about Play Nice. I genuinely love this book. I had so much fun with it. Really glad that we did this one for spooky season.
I know. I want you to read the other Rachel Harrison's now. And I want to read more too because
I do too. Yeah, I would love to read her backlist.
Yeah, they're a good time.
Yeah.
Because I've read So Thirsty and Cackle, which makes sense. The vampire and the witch one.
Yes.
So I don't think I would have necessarily read the Haunted House one if we didn't pick it.
I would have.
Yeah. And that was Play Nice.
That was Play Nice.
Thank you so much for going on a haunted house journey with us this week. Be sure to follow us on what?
In my head, I was like, I do not want the house tour. I do not want to go.
Do you want the house tour? No.
No, I don't want the house tour. Sorry. It popped into my head.
No house tour. Get out of here. Be sure to follow us over on TikTok, Patreon, and Instagram, and just keep up with everything with us on the other side of the page.
Yes, and please, please, please drop a review and a 5-star rating of the podcast on your preferred platform and share us with your bookish besties who you think might like us.
Yes, and next week we have a manuscript episode, which I'm so excited for. I got to meet this author before I read any of her work, and she was wonderful, and I was like, Britt, we have to read this book and let's see if she'll chat with us. And she said yes. So we are going to be talking to author Ellie Palmer next week.
Yes. So we're going to be talking about her latest release, Anywhere With You, and about her as an author. You've heard some of our manuscript episodes, so you know what to expect. We are so excited. And in addition to that, we do have our very first live event coming up at Moncor Books in Canton, Michigan. If you are local, we would love to have you. There are limited tickets available. You can get them on the Moncor website. We're going to be yapping about Soul Searching by Lila Sage, and we're horrified and nervous and so excited. But it's going to be like one of our long story short episodes, but in person.
Yes.
That's me. So perfect. So forever and always,
keep reading with kindness.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.